Good evening. Hey everyone, Darrell Winninger here, Chief Meteorologist at Central Oregon Daily News, and we are about to do a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. Already today, across Central Oregon, we've had several changes, and bigger changes are expected to our weather pattern. And what's interesting about these bigger changes is that we don't have any big system rolling into the Pacific Northwest, at least not until Wednesday night and Thursday. That'll be the next shift in our weather pattern that's being controlled by a low or a cold front or something like that. Tonight, the remnants of a low pressure system and cold front are fizzling out over the Pacific Northwest. That additional moisture, coupled with the cooler air mass on the backside of that boundary that's weakening, will bring us some changes alone, and that system is already fizzling out. But let's go ahead and start off by looking across our Tri-County area, and through Central Oregon we have a mixture of clouds and some sunshine. From the Grizzly Mountain camera, courtesy of the Oregon Hazards Lab, and from the Bachelor camera at the top of Outback Lift Line, you can see that there are some low-level clouds. Now, there's also some pretty gorgeous things that are happening in camera. Look at the Prineville Reservoir. That's just a breathtaking shot. The bin cameras pointed to the northeast toward I think that's Powell Butte, and you can actually see what's known as alpenglow. So the sun is to the back of the camera shining on the butte, and it makes for some gorgeous views. Now, this is the sunset version of that, and for the most part we've just had some in and out cloud cover today. Temperatures, on the other hand, have been above average for this time of the year, mostly in the mid to upper 50s. On average in Bend, the average high temperature is in the upper 40s. It's actually 48 degrees for an average high in Bend and 50 in Redmond. Now, when it comes to precipitation, we are running dry. Currently, you're looking at satellite and radar. Radar shows us rain, and this satellite imagery is a blend of infrared and visible satellite imagery. And what we can tell from this is that there's two different lows, a low over southern BC of Canada and another low over northern California. That one's pushing to the south, and we're kind of in the in-between zone, very similar to where we were late last week. And this system is breaking apart, but leaving with us some moisture. And that moisture is going to come in play later on tonight. Now, when we switch gears and just look at infrared satellite imagery, you can also see those white lines with the black borders. Those are all isobars, or equal lines of pressure. And what we're noticing is that over the high desert, we have very low cloud cover. And we can tell that because of the infrared satellite imagery. There's an enhancement on it. And that enhancement really pulls out the tall clouds. And the way infrared satellite imagery works is it looks at the temperature of what it's focused on, in this case the Earth, right? And so what we're looking at is it can tell the difference between the surface and clouds, and where you see stuff moving around, that's obviously clouds. And the higher it is, the cloud cover, the tops of the clouds I should say, the brighter the color is. It's where you get into the yellows, the oranges, even the reds during severe weather seasons. But what we're seeing through the Tri-County area is a very, very faint color, and that light pale blue, that sky blue that you're seeing there, that is indicative of very low cloud cover. And this is going to come into play because I'm expecting some of this cloud cover to descend, creating some fog through tonight, eventually becoming areas of freezing fog. Now, over the Cascades, some of those isobars were really tightly stacked. We call that a steep gradient. It has been breezy at times for some of the high desert, but when we look at the bigger picture, we can see a couple of different things. Number one, we can see that low over Canada. Number two, we can see that low just north. The center of circulation is just north of San Francisco, between Sacramento and Redding, and that system is actually pulling away from us. Now, further out over the Pacific Ocean, there's a broad ridge of high pressure that's also going to come into play during the next couple of days. It's actually why we're staying in an unsettled weather pattern versus a calm weather pattern or even an active weather pattern. That's because we still have some activity, some waves of moisture out over the North Pacific Ocean. These are going to impact us, but this high pressure is going to eat away at them. As they make landfall, they fizzle out, not really bringing us much in the way of precipitation. On top of that, we are seeing a drier air mass above the surface. Well, this is water vapor imagery. It's looking at the mid to lower levels right here, and with that, we can see where we have that dry air mass, that yellow, the blue that's over central Oregon and the west coast. That is indicative of that slot of dry air that's going to keep any precipitation back. And this is what some high pressure systems are known for, and that's actually already starting to impact us. So we're not looking at any precipitation outside of these areas of fog. If fog develops, some freezing drizzle, maybe some flurry activity could be possible in some of those locations. So as we go forward through the overnight hours, you're going to notice a couple things. First, there's going to be cloud cover that's moving with the general flow of the atmosphere, and there's also going to be cloud cover that's almost staying put. That's the lower level cloud cover. That will become those areas of fog through the Tri-County area. So as of right now, we do have some periods of clearing, and through the overnight hours, some of that fog develops, and by tomorrow morning, we are looking at the potential of some dense fog for areas of much of Deschutes County, areas of Jefferson and Crook County. But for the most part, it's going to be where those temperatures get below freezing that we're continuing to keep an eye out for any freezing fog. Flurries are going to be possible wherever some of this fog is and temperatures are at least close to freezing. It takes 1,200 feet to melt a snowflake, and a lot of this cloud cover is going to be right at the surface. So I would not be surprised if you catch some freezing drizzle or some flurries with this as well. That lifts up, it dissipates. Tuesday brings in and out cloud cover. Pretty much that cloud cover that's out over the North Pacific. By Wednesday, more sunshine than clouds. Also some areas of AM fog. But then by Wednesday evening and Wednesday night, even late Wednesday afternoon, clouds start to increase. Some showers roll into high desert. This is Thursday's system, and that high resolution forecast model doesn't go out too far, but it helps paint a picture of what we're looking at. Now, relative humidity is really important when it comes to areas of fog developing. And what we're seeing right now is we already have moderate to high values. And remember, all of these are measured in percentages. So we're running from between 47% and 84%. When you start to get above 90%, that's when cloud development is very likely. And remember, fog is just a cloud sitting on the ground. That's the definition of it. And here through the overnight hours, we're definitely looking at some of these areas of fog where temperatures fall below freezing. That's where we could be looking at freezing fog. Now, today, temperatures actually got pretty high. We topped out in the mid to upper 50s for most of the Tri-County area, a few lower to mid 50s out there, and Sisters struggled to get out of the 50s. Right now, already back into the 40s, 48 in Sun River and Lapine. But as of 440, we mostly have 50s and 40s through the Tri-County area. Remember, we haven't seen too much in the way of fog developing yet. Once that happens, we're going to see this cooling trend really slow down. But temperature change, we're running between 6 degrees cooler and 7 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. That last holdout is Paulina, sitting at 7 degrees warmer than we were this time yesterday. And for tonight, we're falling back out of the 40s through the 30s, then into the 20s overnight. Notice the average low temperatures right around 31 degrees. That's already below freezing. I'm expecting several spots to reach into the 20s. It's where you have these areas of fog that are going to be very slow to cool down. We could have more 20s than 30s, but that's going to be the difference, is where there's a little bit more clearing or where there's some in and out cloud cover before fog develops. That'll be the difference on that average low temperature of where we're going to be the 20s and 30s. And our school bus forecast for tomorrow starts us off with some areas of freezing fog and a gentle breeze, 30s for the beginning of the day, some 20s for lows. By the afternoon, 40s with a few 50s for highs. Just a light breeze, and tomorrow will bring in and out cover. So let's focus on this weather pattern because it is going to be unsettled. Through Tuesday, some AM freezing fog is expected. Temperatures don't go very far. That fog is going to start to lift, then it begins to dissipate. For some of us, it doesn't quite clear out. Where it doesn't clear out, that's where we're looking at some more fog by Tuesday night going into Wednesday morning, but highs are mostly going to be in the 40s, maybe some 50s. By Wednesday, 50s and some 40s. Showers just offshore. That next system, once it makes landfall, comes over the coastal range, interacts with the Cascades, it starts to break apart and that low pressure digs further to the south. Now, showers are expected Wednesday night and Thursday. Some snow in the Cascades, and then high pressures building into the region. Hence, roller coaster temperatures are expected by Friday, by Saturday, by Sunday. a warming trend sets up that brings our temperatures closer to what we're seeing today. So yes, it is going to get chilly for several days in a row. Then a system rolls through. Once that next ridge of high pressure begins to build, that's when we're going to see temperatures coming up. Now I'm going to show you a couple of different forecast models. The first one is the one I typically use on air. The second one is a long range forecast model, not as high of resolution, but it still helps us to see if there are any differences between model runs. Now here through the overnight hours, we do have two different lows, one north in Canada, the other one south in California, and they're both kind of moving away from us, not really impacting us. So some in and out clouds are expected. Here's another view of some of those areas of fog that we're looking at tomorrow. By Tuesday, a weak wave of moisture rolls through, no precipitation until that wave of moisture gets out towards eastern Crook County and southern Deschutes County. So some sprinkles, some flurries are going to be possible Tuesday night going into Wednesday. After that, more sunshine than clouds. Then another cold front comes through. This one breaks apart as it rolls through the high desert. We are looking at some rain, mostly sprinkles, and some light snow in the Cascades, very light. I'll show you numbers here in a second. By Friday, we're back to more sunshine than clouds, and that continues into Saturday as well. This is when that next big warming trend is. So let's go ahead and look at the GFS. This is a long-range forecast model. I even have it starting Thursday after this next system rolls through. And what we're noticing is that each day brings another round of sunshine mixed with only some cloud cover, and that is really painting the picture for no precipitation in sight until we get to Sunday night. Going into Monday, that one could actually bring a little bit more snow to the Cascade. So between now and 7 a.m. Thursday, we are getting rain. Most of that pushes through Wednesday night and Thursday. A little bit, some light totals through the Cascades, nothing to get excited about. And then different forecast models shows also some light snow. This one actually brings it down into the lower elevations, but less than an inch, more like a half of an inch. So not even enough to get excited about, but some slick roads could be possible. But that's not until that Sunday system rolls through, that Sunday-Monday system starts to impact us. So for tonight, we're talking 30s and 20s, areas of fog. Where we have fog and temperatures are below freezing, we get freezing fog, meaning some slick roads are going to be possible through the AM hours into tomorrow, really, until temperatures pick up above freezing and that fog lifts and dissipates. So through Tuesday, we're not going very far, topping out in the 40s. It'll be chilly with a few 50s. Here's your 7-day planner. We do have a big dip in temperatures between today and tomorrow, losing 5 to 10 degrees. Then either side of 50, 40s with some 50s through Thursday. This puts us right on target for this time of the year. This is what mid to late November is supposed to feel like. And then by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we warm back into that more seasonally mild range. Then another system rolls in late Sunday going into Monday. That's when we get that next chance of some rain and some snow. Now, our weather headlines for this Monday, November the 17th, include some AM freezing fog. Colder nights are on the way with chilly days through Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and our next system rolls through Wednesday night going into Thursday. After that system, that's when we start to see temperatures rebounding across the high desert. But as of right now, we do have some clouds. Some of this is low-level cloud cover, and there's not much in the way of precipitation. But remember, where we get some of these areas of fog tonight, that's where we could be looking at some drizzle, some flurry activity. But that is the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We'll have the latest headlines and your most reliable forecast. See you then.